You are listening to DropTent Media Network.
All right. Yo, welcome to the cast. Today we got a sick guest. All right, comedian, podcaster, the American Loser podcast, and veteran. You know, even if you're just in the car right now by yourself, just give it up for the troops, you know? You just got to give it up for them troops. But ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Patrick, KP Burke.
Hell yeah, dude.
What's going on, fellas? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, dude. So for those who don't know, we met Kevin during the roast. He was judging for a Comedy Fight Club. That was a tight night.
Yeah, easy night, and you guys did not have. You guys had probably the worst spot on the entire show and still killed. So I was pretty impressed with that.
Hell yeah, dude.
We like to take it first.
That's
yeah. That was that was kind of wild because I had nerves going into it because I was before this already watching like Roast Masters and then like Comedy Fight Club after that and then also like Legion of Skanks and like all that shit on Gas Digital. So I was like, all right, here we go.
Well, technically, you can use them as a credit now. So you boys are part of that family. So take it and run.
Dude, I'm trying to scavenge. I don't even know if that's a word. I'm scavenging every credit I possibly can. I'm looking for new vocab words as well. But I'll take a credit when the credit is presented.
Yeah, it was a very like specific feeling. Like I saw like Harrington. I'm like, no way! I saw you got shit on Legion of Skanks. This rules. But dude, no, everyone was just super cool, and that was tight.
Yeah, that was a fun night, man. How long have you been running like judging all these roast battles and stuff?
Oh, I mean, I got really lucky, man. It was first of all, you two. How long have you guys known each other? Because your battle was like one of the better ones. Because I feel like you two at least have an idea who each other are, right? You do a show together and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know each other for as long. Like we know each other for probably like what? I mean,
like
we've been doing this podcast for about a year now, but we kind of just became friends when we started the podcast. We just bumped into each other at open mics a bunch. He was doing music mainly, and then switched over to the comedy world for some reason because he was doing pretty good in the music.
He's tired of respect.
Yeah. I think like a few days ago I just hit year 2, baby.
That's of stand-up. That was it.
Yeah.
You guys were both sharp joke writers too, man. And you had the rapport thing is important because I don't know, like some of the best battles have been that I've seen from Roast Masters and everything was always people that kind of knew each other. Because the worst is when you don't know shit about each other and you don't know if you're being a total hack or not going after.
Right, it's all like surface level jokes and stuff. Like
like schoolyard bully shit. So
right.
But no, you guys throwing jabs, man. I dug it.
Yeah, and one thing too, going into it, like I noticed, like it's very much about the vibe. Like, one thing I really liked from watching Eli Sayers on like Roast Masters and shit was like he was a fucking assassin, but also had a very good vibe.
He's an agoraphobe too. Like I'm friendly with him, so I don't want to give too much away. But him and Mike Lawrence are two guys that need like the fist pound because they don't shake hands. They got like a complex about it.
Yeah, doesn't
like actually shaking someone's hands like too much intimacy for them?
Yeah, so you can say the meanest shit possible about either of them, like the meanest shit you can possibly think of, and they'll laugh it off. But if you try to shake their hand, they're like, "Well, get the fuck away from me, dude."
Yeah, that's that you trying to shake their hand. That's the actual shit talking. Like, you want to fucking go, dude?
That's
yeah, true.
But yeah, both those guys were the best, man. And then so I got into it with Roast Masters, and then just being buddies with Matt and Harrington and those guys. The judging thing's very easy. You guys do all the work, and then we just kind of chill and pick our shots. So
dude, the judging seems like it's so much fun. I was so happy that you were on. Like you were like, I like you, dude. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Because I didn't. You're the only judge I didn't know. So I was happy I got your approval.
You guys had a good panel though too, man. And I wanted there to be. I had all these things in mind for if the show stunk that I was gonna say, but pretty much everybody was throwing fucking hammers.
Yeah. What was there like kind of a thing going into Philly, like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. We'll see.
It was just weird having not been around and stuff like that. And then I'll be honest too, man. It's for Comedy Fight Club, Matt Maron will admit it too, that the main events are usually great, but then it'll be like two kids that are like trying stand up for the first time.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, like it's when you're like, I'm finally on my own. I live in New York now. I'm going to try comedy. It's like part of a tourist package or something.
Yeah.
They try it and they'll never do it again. But for those 90 days, they think they're a comedian, and then it's you hear a lot of recycled shit. But everybody, and the only guy who kind of bombed that whole thing, he just had
Jared Little.
What a good dude. What a good like heart on him to just sit there and be like, yeah, whatever. I'm not, this ain't my thing.
Well, he took it like a fucking champ.
He knew what he was getting himself into too, because before the fight, he's like, I'm so unprepared. I'm like, same. And he's like, no, I am about to get destroyed. And I'm like, dude, at least you know that though. Like at least you didn't write jokes and then you get the no laughter and then you're like, shit. At least you like, oh, no laugh. I was expecting a no laugh. That's good.
Yeah.
He played
and then,
off pretty well.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say I ate shit on because when the battles first came around, it was Lewis was still booking them, and so they'd hit me up and they'd be like, hey, can you battle so and so, and you try to get to know the person beforehand. And the one guy, I had a hot streak going for a minute. I thought I was doing really good, and I went up against one guy, and out of respect for him, I won't say his name because I don't think he wants to be associated with the roast battle thing anymore. But if you've ever been. Every joke he had against me was hitting hard, and everyone I had was bombing. So take bombing on a set combined with everyone making fun of you like your pants are down in front of gym class, and it was that was the closest I've come to just fucking diving on a pair of scissors after a show.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Like I've only done 2 roasts so far, but my biggest fear is like just doing absolutely horrible the entire time, while getting shit on and just being like, I really want to, like, you can't even leave the stage because, like, I mean, not that you would anyway, but there's even more so, like, you can't walk off while you're doing bad. You can't walk off to stand up anyway, but, like, that's the one time you probably would want to the most, and you just can't. Especially on a rooftop.
I screamed, "This is my nightmare" during the set at the old stand. So that was, I think, the only laugh I got that entire night. So,
damn. Yeah, we had the added element of driving there together.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the DUI thing is a real thing. So the only reason I could do he's like, yo, you guys want to? I hit him up that day. I'm like, so you're gonna give me a ride, right? Or do you want to battle nobody? Because I can't get there. I got that DUI.
Yeah, and I was just praying it wasn't weird on the way back, but it was pretty sick. Thank God.
I really do think you guys had probably fight of the night because I can't think of a joke that missed, and then when you guys were killing during during the judging, you guys were still going off, which is always risky.
Yeah.
Because typically it would be Voss would start destroying whoever was trying to interrupt him or something like that, and then it turns into all the judges ganging up on the person. But you guys, it was very fun to watch, man.
Yeah, man. And speaking of Voss, didn't you do some writing for the Voss roast or something like that?
I did. I snuck the final cut. I think I only got like 1 or 2 jokes in, but I snuck a few in for. I won't say for who because it's like I found out afterwards it's kind of a bad move to say who you wrote for, but
right.
Right. I guess they'd be like, oh, you need someone to do your shit for you. It's like,
and then other people were like all about it. So, but then what killed me was that the dais, they changed the dais the day of, and half the jokes I had was about a person who wasn't even on the show anymore. So I lost everything on the floor.
Oh shit, that's horrible.
It was still fun to be there, though, man.
Yo, yeah, absolutely, dude. That's got to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's so tight. I watched that roast. It was nice.
It was perfect. Honestly, it was, and that was the entire, like literally the entire crowd was all diehard comedy fans, so nothing was off limits. And they cut it out too, but they did a Patrice thing where they played old clips of his, and it was just him ripping on Voss from O&A over the years. I thought that would have made the cut for sure, but it didn't.
Yeah, that's weird. Why wouldn't that make the cut? I would definitely love to have seen that.
Well, the
master at work.
Big J did include like a Patrice story in there about Joe DeRosa, where
yeah.
like he doesn't have shoulders, so like his dad can never like have like a heart to heart with him. He's like, listen, son, hey, oh, yeah, that was so good.
Oh man, I was just listening to your podcast that you do with your dad, which is pretty cool. I can't steal that idea that you know from the roast. But
dark, buddy.
we went all sorts of places with that roast, but it is good. Is your dad happen to be John Goodman by any chance? Because he sounds like a skinnier version of John Goodman. Like he probably has less chins, but like is still maybe John Goodman.
It's you're not the first to say that, and thank you for letting me plug it too, man. Me and the old man have been doing that for coming up on 2 years now, actually. But it's pretty sweet. John Goodman, he gets a lot, and then we get there's actually like vocal parts of our listenership that want to have sex with my dad, which is weird.
Oh, that rules.
Yeah.
Is it girl? Is it females or is it guys too?
Hey guys, it's 2020. There is no gender. All right.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
So even deer are hitting on them. You name it.
Yeah, dude, that's got to be weird if you have like a step zer. That's gotta be a fun gender neutral step parent. That's wild.
Oof.
A step it.
But that's
That's
sick.
how we
Are you guys doing it out of the Jers?
Yeah. Out of curiosity, how far was that Philly show for you guys?
Like 30 minutes.
Yeah, about a half hour.
Yeah, I don't know if like you know where Cherry Hill is.
I sure do, buddy.
Yeah, we're right around there.
Oh, outstanding then, man. That's the reason why Harrington asked me if I wanted to do that one is because I crash in pretty much Belmar. I got an uncle that lives down there, so I have my little makeshift homeless apartment over there I stay at, and I forgot it's still an hour to Philly when I was heading down that way. But yeah, I'm out of Jersey to answer your question.
True. Yeah,
There
but
you
like North Jersey, right?
Yeah, I live in Wayne, which is like 20 minutes outside of Newark.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, I pretty much, before all this shit went away, I was kind of just living on couches, doing road dog bullshit. So.
Gotcha.
Hell
And
yeah, dude.
did you grow up in Jersey? Because I know at some point you went to Jacksonville, and that's like where you started comedy, right?
Rob does his fucking research. This is solid. Yeah, man. No, I got stationed in Jacksonville with the Navy, and I lived there for about 6 years, and that's when I started comedy. And it was there was no scene whatsoever, and now those guys, whatever, like 5 years removed from me living there, have like a pretty killer scene.
That's dope. Jacksonville's an interesting city. Like my dad grew up there.
Whoa!
And,
all right.
Yeah, and he it's interesting because Leonard Skinner's from there. Like before they were famous, they played like his junior proms and shit.
Whoa! Them Allman Brothers, Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit's from Jacksonville?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
It's not it used to be a bragging point. Now they claim red jumpsuit apparatus. So
Damn. Do you feel like a man? Damn.
No, it is weird though. Like when you see like comedy scenes just kind of sprout out of nowhere. Like when isn't one, all it takes is like a few funny guys to make a scene pop. And it's kind of weird. Like South Jersey didn't really have much going on. Now it's starting to turn around. It's got like spots here and there and stuff. So it's just interesting to see where comedy just explodes.
Yeah,
it's having the integrity spots too. That's the thing.
Yeah, and it does kind of feel like the scenes around here. It does feel like college basketball. Because like a lot of them, like they only stay for a little bit, and then as soon as they like start really getting that heat, they just go to the big leagues. But it
Solid
is cool,
analogy.
like see certain people just get really good, and that there is like that cool scene, like classes, like I feel like right now, even though Shane Gillis is in New York now, but just seeing like Shane, Matt McCusker, Brian Six, Shaner, Sidney Gant, and all them, like it seems like they all came up together, and then they were the dudes. And then I'm interested to see they like build on top of there. But did you did you go back to Jersey after Jacksonville?
Yeah, it was. I actually I was engaged at the time. I had a house in Florida and everything. I thought I was staying for a while, and then me and her split, and then I let her keep the house. It was like a whole weird, wild legal battle for a year and a half. But I moved back
Well,
home.
that was on Easter, if I did my research correctly.
Yeah, she was. It was one of those things, man. It's like I realized eventually you're just not going to shut this chick up. There's always going to be something else she needs out of you. So we moved on. She's probably cool now. Maybe she learned, some stuff too. But I'll put it this way: she hated it because I'm sure you guys have this too, where it's are you guys single or no?
Got a lady right now.
Yeah, same. Unfortunately, she listens to this, so shit.
Well,
I'm at her aunt's house right now.
Oh, nice.
She probably just heard me say that. Get it?
Bring her on.
Yeah, Cody, you got to hang on to that shit, then, dude. That's solid.
Yeah, this is my what's it called? My timeshare. Come here every now and again. Yeah, that's what you're looking for. A girl that has sweet locations.
Yeah, he's doing a reverse KP. Like he's taking the house.
Yeah, good for you, dude.
Yeah.
Apparently it's haunted though, and I have to stay over tonight. I didn't the other night because I was sick, but also she's been saying that she's been getting like alien type of vibes and spirit vibes and
Now
like
we're
hauntings
talking.
and shit that's happening here. And she wants me to stay tonight. I'm like, dude, I've got some like shit that's happened to me, like sleep paralysis, stuff like that. That if I stay here, I might anger the spirits and it might become something a little like in every paranormal activity movie that happens, the boyfriend stays over, something fucked up happens to him, and then he runs away, and then it just spirals from there. So I'm pretty nervous, and I was listening to the recent episode of your podcast, and now I'm even more freaked out that maybe it's Russians and they're gonna come in here and dose me with LSD and try to take over my mind, shit like that. I'm nervous for the night, but also excited to see what happens.
Well, I think the rule is for horror movies and shit, it's you just can't fuck in the house, right? As long as you don't fuck, you're okay.
Yeah, that or be
All
black.
right, then I get one or the other. Yeah, I guess I'm not getting laid tonight then, unless I got a death wish, dude.
Yeah, go for it, man. That's that same chick I was with. She used to get stuff like that all the time too. She and I'd rip on her for it and stuff, but like she was one of like those power crystal people.
Oh, gee. Yeah, you got to charge them up with the moon?
Yeah, so it was like she'd do that, or she would like, if I stressed out, she'd like grab my hand and try to like calm me down or something. It was like, easy, fucking rogue, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I always found that like hot people believe in shit like that. Like more so than not, because I feel like hot people believe in destiny. Like I've seen, like I have hot dude friends that'll just do just the craziest shit, and I could tell in their head they wouldn't verbalize it this way, but they kind of believe this. Like God wouldn't kill the protagonist this early.
Is that what? Have you changed? Rob? You used to be a hot little boy, Rob. Have you lost faith, dude? Have you lost destiny?
Yeah, dude. Like it started as soon as I started like losing my hair, gaining some weight. I was like, I gotta fucking start reading. I gotta like listen to podcasts. I gotta up my gift to gab. Because
you know where Rob's got us beat too, though. By the way, Cody, you and me will just never have this. But Rob, just raise your eyebrows after you say something.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's cheating, man.
So that's so much expression in just one move, dude. Like it's a whole book in just one move of the brow, dude.
It's literally like an exclamation mark at the end of every punchline. Then
yeah,
it requires no effort. If
I look
bastard.
this way, it really is just explanation.
Yeah, dating is weird.
This is Rob just does. He does stand up in the middle of what's that one movie? Oh, A Quiet Place, where you can't talk or the thing eats you. Rob could do, if that happened instead of a pandemic, Rob would still be able to crush. He would just do eyebrows like, over there. People are like, yeah, that's good stuff, and then get eaten by the creature. I don't know.
I think the black dude version of that too is Chris Tucker eyes.
Oh yeah, a lot of whites.
Yeah, so it's like if you ever do like the competition thing or something like that, it'll always stink because you go up there, you try like write something you believe in, and then just like a young black kid doing comedy for the first time will do the at the end of a joke, and you're just toast. It's over. No one's going with you. It's
Yeah, right. They're like, I like what that guy's eyes did better than anything that you're saying right now. This guy rules.
Yeah, dude, that's got to be tight. Just being born with that charisma.
Yeah, dude.
it's
Just straight off the because I've seen dudes like when they first start just crushing it off that charisma off the bat. But I did hear that thing like it's like you either like the charisma first or the writing first, and then you just kind of balances out over time. But were you like more of a writing guy first, and then kind of built like went into your stage presence a little more? Or?
Rob's trying to say you don't have nice eyes very in a roundabout way.
It was a pleasant burn, actually, in a weird way. That was almost a compliment.
It's like, where did you have nice eyes and then decided to start writing, or did you? What happened with those eyes?
Because he got both. I was wondering, the chicken or the egg, you know?
I'll tell you what, I got called a great writer enough to know that it meant I wasn't funny at first. There's like, that kid's a great writer. And you're just like, oh, so I can't deliver the jokes is what you're saying. All right, good. But, no, I had to have the writing thing first for sure.
Well, it seems like you kind of just rolled with it, dude. Because like, how far along were you when you like wrote for the Phosphorus? Like, I think
lucky. I
yeah,
get really
did
lucky.
You do that like shit. 5 years in or something like that, or like?
Yeah, because when was that? I think the roast was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But I get super lucky, man, because whenever like I work, some comics are weird with this one. I don't know why. Like it's a lot. Like, do you guys like to host at all or no?
Cody.
Yeah, I dig hosting. Like I did a comedy show in my backyard. Like those ones when I know like the crowd's mostly like people I know, it's a lot more fun. And even when it's not, it's like once you get the ball rolling, you get to go in between everybody and like mess around with like their stuff and your own stuff and just pass it along. It's nice. It's like passing through it. But sometimes it's a fucking nightmare.
Totally. It scares the shit out of a lot of people.
Yeah, I've been like the worst when it's like everyone does bad. You go up, you do bad, everyone else does bad afterwards, and it kind of feels like, did I just set the tone to everyone to bomb tonight? And you just when everyone's bombing, you're like, God damn it, dude, this is my fault.
Or if you don't like the host, you just blame the host when you have a bad set. That's the other side of that coin.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, they weren't doing that. I would have been able to work with that. I'd be like, yeah, I'm fucking up. At least these guys are doing all right. But they've like, I think it was almost like they felt bad that I was doing so bad that they didn't comment on it. And then anyone that did, like, they were like maybe too mean, and people knew me a little bit more than they did. They're like, don't be mean to Cody. I'm like, no, come on, laugh at that. That was funny. Please.
True.
Be mean to me, hurt me, burn me.
Well, there was a situation kind of recently. Cody ran the show. I won't say his name, but he was hosting, and kind of ate a dick out there, and it happens. But I went on first after him, and he just like shook my hand, and he said to me, he's like, "Good luck picking up the pieces." And I was like, all right.
Yeah, the outside shows are like, we do shows at like these festivals. So we get during his set, he had somebody with a neon like a lightsaber that like was flashing different colors, and this guy who goes by the name Rain, and he's at all these music festivals, and we started doing comedy at these things, which is probably a bad idea, but we're digging our way through. And he was just in front of Rob the entire set, just dancing because he was legit raving. He's just on like some sort of probably like Molly or something, and but he was trying to like dance to the comedy, which was interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of sick. I was saying, like, I never saw someone hit the quan to a dick joke. So
yeah,
dude, it's all about those first. But dude, sorry, that you were saying like comics get weird about it, like that you were saying about like hosting or something like that.
Oh yeah, just the best thing I ever did was I would say yes to hosting spots, and then that got me in pretty much at a bunch of clubs, and then the private fundraiser thing. And guess what? Like a guy like Voss or other people I've become friendly with over the years, they work those rooms, and then if those guys like you, they bring you around with you, and then all of a sudden you're meeting people, and they're like, "Listen, here's my email. If you want to, if you need." I've had some people say like, dude, go on my website, look at my calendar, tell me what dates you want. And that's all from hosting or doing some gig that's probably not like a cool gig. You know what I mean? Like I thought that Philly rooftop thing was pretty fucking cool, But if I had an offer for an Elks Lodge that night, what do I take the cool fun gig with, hanging out with people my age, or do I go, perform for some blue hairs and try to, be on a show with Vic DiBitetto or some shit.
Yeah.
So, but you take those and you meet the right people and they hook you up. So that's where the writing stuff came from. That's where you'd be shocked how many people are be willing to do podcasts, especially right now too. Like it's almost an advantage at this point.
True. And I know you're a Tough Crowd guy, right?
Diehard fan, man.
Yeah. So that must've been pretty sick when you started meeting those dudes. Was that like kind of weird?
Yeah, it's the first one was DePaulo, that me and him just kind of, I got very lucky. I caught lightning in a bottle with that. But of the people still alive from Tough Crowd, I've kind of met, hung out, and performed with all of them at this point.
Damn, that's so sick.
Yeah, it was a dream come true. But the thing is to keep your dreams very small, and then you can accomplish them. So
True.
That's wise.
Keep it incremental.
Yeah, it's like this one will kill me too. Is I got a picture of I've only hung with him a couple of times, and he's been super cool every single time. But like my hero growing up as a kid was Colin Quinn, because I clicked with him on the Irish thing, and so then you brag about Colin Quinn to someone who doesn't do stand up, and you have to explain to them who Colin Quinn was. And then you say you're with, and I'm not shitting on him either, but then you say like, oh, I've worked with Vic DiBitetto, and they're like, holy crap, the bread and milk guy. And it kind of just hurts your soul integrity wise, but the real comics, the comedy fans and other comics and everything, it's always cool to talk about that shit with people. So I'm glad you guys knew that.
It's weird. Yeah, I opened up for Theo Vaughn before, and I thought that was gonna be pretty. Like one that I'd be able to tell a lot of people, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's cool," and then like most of people would be like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "It's nothing. It doesn't matter."
Well, I feel like with the internet now, there's so many different spheres now where people are just really huge in different spheres. Like there's like people that are so famous in ASMR, and I have no idea who they are, but they get millions and millions of views.
Yeah, it's niche driven for sure, man. It's the people that will impress like my little cousins or something versus the people that'll impress like comedy fans or something. It's so drastically different. It's weird. So my first time hanging at the Stand, it was on a produced show. It wasn't the club or anything like that, but a buddy threw me some time on my birthday, and it was a weird. The reason I say it is because it's important to the guy. So I was born on September 11th.
Yeah.
Congratulations. It is what it is what it is now.
You're about to say you'll never forget. I
stopped myself. I was like, don't do
it. That's probably took more out of that's good comic. Just not stopping yourself right before. That's advanced shit right there, dude.
It was weird though, because so it was my buddy had a produced show at the Stand, and I just moved back home maybe like a month earlier. So everybody came out for my birthday. My dad was there, a couple other family members, stuff like that. And they didn't tell me that the light was malfunctioning at the Stand. So, and this is the old one, the old basement one, which is like, honest to God, that's like one of the best clubs ever, the old one. I still like the new one, but don't get me wrong. The old one was like, there was a meanness to it.
Yeah, it seems like the new one's like a little more bougie.
For sure. It's still cool. Same staff, so they're always good that way. Like,
it's kind of cool how like a room can gain a vibe just because of the performances that's happened there,
Oh yeah, that was definitely a comedy fans club. So I always dug that about them. It was weird. So I go up to do my spot, and the guy tells me, he goes, all right, man, you got 7 minutes. And I went up on stage. I had, like I said, friends, family there, everything on my birthday. They didn't tell me the light was malfunctioning in the back. So the light never turned off. So I was like, well, when do I know it's my time? And he goes, oh, the light will go off. And the light never stopped going off. So I got in my own head, and I did 3 minutes and 22 seconds of comedy and got off stage.
Mm.
So it's weird. Yeah, the light can fuck you up so bad.
Well, ever since then, like in Florida, the guy would tell us, the club owner was kind of an ass where I started, but I liked him. But he would make you time yourself. And if you went over on your time, he took the time off your next set at his club.
Damn.
It's like rollover minutes.
Pretty much, yes. There was a couple of black comics down there that owed him time at the end, I think.
It's like, you got to come perform at my kid's birthday. Clean,
Exactly.
please.
But the weirdest part was then the guy closing that night was Pete Davidson.
Oh, really? I was just watching Crashing yesterday.
Well, this was
Or like
pre-SNL for him too. So he was just on Wild 'N Out at that point. But that's like when I met him, he was a nice guy. You talked to him a little bit. He was, whatever. We weren't like buddies or anything. But I mentioned that I met him to my my little cousins, and they went fucking ballistic. And I was like, I wasn't even a ping on the radar at the time, man. That guy he was hanging out with Nick Cannon. That wasn't anything worth noting.
Now it is. Now it's like, why is he? What does he believe in? If you're hanging out with Nick Cannon, why are you hanging out with Nick Cannon? What's your agenda?
Oh, it was the first time they ever looked at me as famous instead of a fucking burnout alcoholic.
That's got to be enough. I'm still trying to get that with my nieces. It's not looking too bright. Yeah, well, now that she thinks I'm a robot at this point, so I don't know. I got some work to do.
It is crazy to think that I think it's the same thing with comedy and music, where like it's the shit we're into now, and then we'll see what younger kids are laughing at, and we're like, do you call that fucking comedy? Like I think it's happening with like TikTok and shit. I'm trying to watch more. I'm trying to watch more so I get it. But sometimes
TikToks?
Yeah.
No, you just like TikToks.
There's certain talks that I love, but then there's some that catch on. I'm like, I just don't get it.
Right. It happens a lot with memes. Memes just fucking are the worst.
I just lost one, I guess 3 weeks ago. I didn't realize how mean the meme game was.
Yeah, they steal your shit, right?
Oh, they're fast. And by the way, I used to make fun of anybody who was like, they stole my joke. I was like, it's an easy joke to write. Everyone assumes thievery instead of like, oh, parallel development.
Right.
But this one hurt pretty bad. It was on my Instagram page, and it took off like nothing I've ever written before. And it was a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. And it says, another one of those annoying couples that finish each other's sentences.
Yeah, that's actually awesome.
I wrote it in the parking lot, and I was like, this would be a great joke on stage, but there is no comedy right now. So I said, let me do the meme thing. And my buddy even sent me a watermark warning me about this, and I forgot to do it. And I posted it in a parking lot. We went into the studio to do American Loser, and I had to turn my phone off because it was going nuts. It was the first ever like almost 1,000 like post I ever had. And I was the front page of Instagram for like 8 hours, and the shit went crazy. And then Trash Can Paul swiped it. I don't know if they swiped it for me or if someone sent it to him. Then other people are putting it up on their account and stuff like that. And everyone used the same photo as me, or they slightly reworded it. And then the one that fucking killed me was yesterday. I saw Tim Kennedy from the UFC, who was like one of my favorite fighters. He shared it on his page and has no clue. So that would have been my opportunity to talk to that guy.
Yeah, and I guess it's a weird conversation. Hit him up like, yo, not to, call you a Steeler, but you like my humor because I wrote that you're using. And he'd be like, nah, dude, I thought of this. I'll fuck you up. I'll fight you for real. Yeah, I guess that's an awkward yeah, dude, that sucks.
Well, I wrote to Trash Can Paul and told him, like, hey, man, can you at least mention me in the comment or something like that? Just anything to throw a little something my way. And they ignored it. So I just wrote back to them. I was like, by the way, I'm telling everyone I write for you guys now. So that's my new credit when comedy comes back.
Yeah, it's on the podcast. It's for real.
Exactly.
Well, it seems like people haven't gained that respect for comedy yet, unless you're like into comedy, like the intellectual property of it. Because you clearly can't do that with music. But I guess there is a weird thing where people tell street jokes and they crush with it. And they're like, well, that's fine. So what's the difference with stand-up? Why can't I just tell that like a street joke? It doesn't belong to anyone anymore.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta have those people that are mean about it.
Yeah, like flip out. Like Joe Rogan, like pressuring George Lopez on stage. Like, yo.
I know. Fucking Carlos Mencia.
Oh, yeah.
Lopez is pretty straight, actually. Yeah.
Lopez also confronted Carlos Mencia. That's why I got him mixed up, not because I'm racist. That wouldn't be the reason.
It's a byproduct.
Yeah, it's just oops.
Yeah. Apparently, George Lopez like choked him after a show or something.
Yeah, because he said he saw like him take like 15 minutes of his material, so he like threw him against the wall or whatever. Carlos Mencias is back though, so I guess like even there's like just a purgatory land where you go from a comedian when you get outed for that, and then you just have to go actually write some jokes or steal them from someone else that's not as famous.
Yeah, well, it definitely still follows him.
Yeah,
like
it stinks too, because his fans, like the Mencia fans, because I know people that open for him regularly, and Mencia's fans have all the right attitude about stand-up, where like nothing's offensive, we'll never report you, we'll never do anything bad to you. If you're selling merch, we want to buy it. They're totally into that, minus the integrity part. So
yeah,
it's like
I've seen a lot of like
thing.
I've seen a lot of comments on like some of his like newer like Facebook videos where people are like, "Well, he says it better," and I'm just like, "Damn."
Yeah, that's not okay. Still, it still doesn't make it all right.
Come on, Ned.
I was just about to make a comparison.
name.
I was just about to make a comparison about someone who steals Hitler's shit. This isn't gonna work, but it was like he just says it better, you know. And was like, yeah. See, this is why I didn't say it out loud. Oh God.
There's a trains run on time, Mussolini kind of a thing in there. I get what you're doing, sir.
Yeah. It was way too far away from an actual point to actually bring it up on a podcast, but I decided to do it anyway. Let's see where it landed. I won't make that mistake again.
Keep in mind, in 4 months, I'll be opening for Carlos on the road if he calls. So it's absolutely.
Yeah, me too. I'll be like, dude, I'm your biggest fucking fan. You want all of my jokes? You can tell. That'd be cool if he just stole like my long hair. Like all my stuff is, I have long hair. Come on.
Yeah.
The Carlos Mencia going out and be like, yes, what? We got long hair.
I mean, you perform it better.
Yeah. He just has a red wig on. I mean, he does have the showmanship. I guess.
Interesting dude. I'll put it. I've hung with him a couple of times. Interesting dude.
What's he like in like real life?
I had a pretty surreal moment sitting in the green room with him. Remember when Roast Battle tried to be on TV?
Yeah, with Jeff Ross hosting it.
Yeah.
That was a pretty bad idea, isn't it?
It was weird. Like I was happy to see some people I knew get on TV, so that was cool. But
right.
at the same time, it was like this really is a bastardized version of the thing that's fun.
Yeah, so, like sanitized, like it didn't have like the same vibe of like seeing it like at the original stand or even like in the belly room.
I never got a chance to watch the Comedy Store ones. Actually, a friend of mine, Katrina Davis, is pretty well thought of out there with the roast battles and stuff. She's a cool chick, but she was killing it in the belly room over there. But I think she had the same opinion too, where the TV version was like it almost had an American Idol thing where they're like, we want someone with like a story that we can try to sell. Because the worst thing on the scene. Did you guys ever watch Corey Rapond battles back in the day?
No.
Dude, Corey Rapond, I think he quit comedy. I don't think he's doing anything at all anymore. He was such a brilliant roast joke writer, but he was the most unlikable dude ever. So he would decimate people in roast battles, and then they'd be like, there's no way you're getting on TV or anything. So this is it for you. Enjoy your writer's room at best.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'd kill for a writer's room. That'd be fucking fun. But also, yeah, I guess like in that aspect, it's like, yeah, I've reached the top of this totem pole. I guess I gotta like hop onto a different one or something. There's always room for the bad guy and shit like that. I wonder what Joffrey's doing from Game of Thrones. I'm sure he's cashing in on some being a dickhead roles or whatever.
Did you guys ever battle anybody else, or was that wasn't your first one, was it?
No, I did one like roast competition before that, and then Cody, you did
champion.
One, yeah, and then
won that shit.
And then you did one.
I did the one.
Ross.
There's one. There's this place at Philly that is in hiatus for now. Is the Cave, and it was just performed in like they had like this. They rent out places from like just normal apartments with basements, college people, and just invite all their college friends, and they just load their basement up with people, and they did a roast battle there. I did roast that one I did roast somebody I didn't really know. All I knew that he was gay and Jewish, so it was 3 jokes smushing those 2 things together the entire time. It was fun, but
Oh, dude, and wasn't that the night, or was it another night where the guy that actually went against Jared, he
it
had
was
a
that
joke
night.
that like shook Philly, and like he like lost the battle, but there was this comic.
He won the battle, but the judges were so offended by the joke. So do you know who Mike Brooks is? Mike Brooks is, by any chance?
I think so.
He was like a bigger black dude from Philly, really funny. But he had passed away like I don't know, maybe like a month beforehand, and he had a really good joke talking about. So he was a bigger black guy who died of a heart attack, and he was making a joke about someone's greasy face, and he's like, he said that the dude's face looks greasier than Mike Brooks's last meal, and it destroyed. But also the panel was full of like people that were his friends, and also a little bit more on the non-roasty side of stuff. Like they were like, why do you think you could say something like that? Like they were like, how dare you? Do you think you're that funny? I'm like, well, I was like listening in the audience, like, you guys sound stupid. You're telling him that he's not that funny when he just said the funniest joke of the night. It just so happened to be also the most horrible thing that someone said. Sometimes those are the 2 things. I don't know what to tell you.
Those are the best. It always stinks too, because you have to play that. The thing I was going to ask you guys is, like, sometimes when you go up against somebody and you have to just accept that you're the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
I forget who it was, because there was a couple female roasters. The one girl was from Florida, I want to say, on the Philly show.
Oh yeah.
I think the one that went up against Matt Byrne, maybe.
Yeah,
Rachel
Bowen
like
or something, I think.
I believe so. She was funny as hell, but it was I admired that guy because that guy didn't hold back, that was going up against her, because the crowd hated him the second he walked up there.
Yeah.
And rather than try to be like, oh, I'm going to show how clever I am, he just dove into, I'm a fucking villain.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
It's so hard.
He set the vibe so well when, like, after his joke, he was like, I'm so alpha.
He'd say that. Yo, he was even making what's his name noises, like, oh, hey.
Dice.
Dice Clay. Yeah, I'm like, all right, so you've cast yourself as that guy. It's weird because it's not only just joke writing, but like the way you're saying it right now, it is point of view and positioning yourself to, like, how do I really sink this dagger in as far as you can. Now, are you usually like the guy being like, when you do roast, are you usually the guy like the bad guy in the situation, or are you just kind of play it situational?
It depends for sure, because roast masters I felt like that was usually a fair one. Fight Club has, like, because Fight Club used to be mostly comics, and it was like a lot of like the Brooklyn, scene kids. So it was like someone would tell a joke that, I'm not being a dick about it either, but it was like somebody would have a joke about white privilege or something like that, and you're just like, it would kill in the room, and you're like, you guys are just popping for a sound somebody made. That's not, there's no writing there on that one. And then
Right.
I'd have to overcome that, which I don't care, because that's just a decent challenge. And what can you hit people on? Sometimes I lean into it too, because I would get called racist enough in these battles that I was like, well, I'm not actually, but if you're going to call me that, I'm going to play with this a little bit. So it would be, little things, here and there. But there was a couple, like, I actually had a Kobe Bryant joke right after he died in the battle I did for Fight Club with my buddy Joe Wolkowski. And it was, it literally is the only time I've ever seen the camera shake in the upstairs room. So that was murderous, but it was a fucking weird battle, but you can get away with some stuff there. So I like doing that. Yeah.
I mean, the one thing.
Yeah, a lot of comics on Facebook did not get away with saying such things.
No.
It was funny because there's like comedians that would usually say fucked up things about anybody else, but for some reason Kobe just really struck a chord with them. Like, dude, but they wouldn't. I think they played it a little bit differently. They wouldn't be like, nah, that's just not a good joke. But like some of them were pretty good. I'm like, that's kind of a funny one, but people would not give him the credit because they'd be like, nah, you're just being a dick. It's like, no, you just like him and you don't want to hear that. But you do have to admit when something's funny, like even if you don't like exactly who they're attacking.
Well, I notice sometimes, not every time, but when there's like a joke that really hits home for someone, that they'll pull the card like, well, I didn't even hear the joke there. Like there wasn't even an attempt for a joke. I'm like, no, there was, but you just didn't
Yeah,
like
they're gaslighting you.
it. Yeah.
I still don't know what that term means, but I've been saying it as much as possible. Fucking.
Well, one thing that was kind of sick was like the people that showed up for Comedy Fight Club. Like I saw some people wearing like podcast shirts and shit. Like those people were like super down the clown, which was tight. It's nice seeing like an educated audience, because it's really hard for me sometimes to explain to my friends that don't do comedy why like certain things that are like absolutely brutal are hilarious. They're like that, but that's like mean, and I'm like, it's hard to convince someone with that mindset. Well, this just isn't for you though.
I think that's kind of like trying to explain to somebody why something, like say you like anchovies and they don't. It's like trying to explain to them why they should like anchovies. Like, no, it's just this flavor. Like, yeah, that's the part I hate most about it. Like,
Well, it's like you're really.
I guess you just don't like anchovies, I guess.
Well, it's even more than that. It's like you like anchovies, they don't, and then they say, "Well, it's not even food."
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, it actually is. Just because you don't like it doesn't make it not food, baby.
Right.
Well, somebody said it once to me, because I actually enjoy like a really good burn against myself, because I just kind of grew up with a lot of ball busting uncles and cousins and shit. So I've always been lucky that way. But it was my favorite thing I've ever been called was one of the battles was right after I tore my ACL, and I had qualified for the Port Authority Police Academy, and I told the guy that, and I was like, yeah, I had to just drop out like within 90 days or whatever of when the battle was, because I tore my ACL, and they're like, dude, you're out for like a year and a half, and I really didn't want to do it anyway, so it was an excuse. And so he said that on stage, and then just tagged it by calling me Blue Lives Fatter.
Nice.
And I was like, all right, that's perfect. I'm telling my, so then like my Navy buddies all go nuts too. I get text messages the next day whenever the thing comes out on YouTube of whoever had the best joke against me. It sucks, because then my idiot buddies from the Navy can't write, but they'll steal other people's jokes to use against me. So.
Yeah.
They're using your own friends that you've gained through hard work and comedy against you. It's a pretty sweet move. I think they know what they're doing.
It works, man. It's I do love, one thing I love about Matt Maron though is that guy will never, there's no such thing as too mean of a joke for him, and no one will ever get canceled for doing Comedy Fight Club. He's like created this weird oasis for fucked up shit.
Yeah, it's cool, and it kind of just seems like
he's creating his own Epstein Island,
pretty much,
in a sense. I guess UFC Fight Island would have been a better example, but
no, it's definitely a place where terrible shit gets turned a blind eye to. But he does it, and it's all for love of the game instead of having sex with underage kids.
Right,
yeah.
But yeah, there's a parallel there.
Yeah, and everyone goes there because they know what they're getting into.
Exactly.
Do you ever see it when someone has no clue how bad it's going to be, though? Like you guys were saying, where it's just their jaws on the ground.
Yep. That's kind of sick.
Yeah, my first battle actually, like we did like 2 jokes back and forth. There was a 3-joke battle, and the last joke I could tell he actually was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "We're roasting here, you know." He like gave, like, this is the first time. Well, I've only done 2, and I knew Rob was gonna be cool with whatever I said, so I did talk to him, and I was like, "Is there anything that I shouldn't make jokes about?" And he was like, "I just don't want you to make jokes about like comparing gay people to pedophiles." And I was like, I wasn't gonna, but now it just kind of seems like, are you a pet? Like for the entire time, I started writing all these pedophile jokes. I was like, are you just saying, like, are you hiding behind that? Like, he's like, that's not cool. I'm like, nah, dude, this guy's just an undercover gay, as a pedophile undercover as a gay, dude. This is
undercover
fucked up.
gay. Damn, that would have been a sick 80s movie.
Yeah, but yeah. And then when I told the joke to him, like I said something about his dad not loving him or something like that, and it struck a chord. And I was like, "Oh, I thought we were gonna be doing this." But I've never seen it like too bad. Like, are you talking about audience members or like actual roasters, or kind of both?
I've seen both. It gets weird. There was we did something like, was like a throwaway kind of a show in Jacksonville where it was mostly just like seeing people hanging out. And this one girl said, she goes, my only rule is no fat jokes, which was weird because she wasn't even fat.
That sounds like a mind game.
Yeah, she was like, she had too much empathy for fat people, so I guess she just didn't want fat jokes. But it was a regular traditional style roast. And so we were going around. When it got to me, I did an entire set, not one single fat joke when I was talking about her. And then at the end, but enough about this tubby bitch. And and that one was like, I can't believe you. They get in my face afterwards. And I was like, come on.
She got in your face?
Yeah.
Like how bad did it get? Like,
it was one of those things where because I'm a really nice guy. So they expected me to cave. And then when I didn't, then they were like, huh? Like they were confused by it. And I was like, it's a roast. I'm not apologizing for anything. And then we just kind of moved on from there.
Yeah. Well,
still, have you created bad blood with anybody, like in like a situation like that? Like, do you run into her and there's still bad blood about the situation, or has there been a thing that's happened like that prior, like throughout like all these roasts and stuff? I'm sure like something like that's like one joke just ticks somebody off so much that they've never been able to let go of it.
I'll put it this way. One of my really good buddies in comedy is Brett Druck, who's just a fantastic comic and writer. And it was weird when one of my hammers I threw at him was his mom was really sick at the time. And I believe she's since passed. And Brett joked about it with me one time when it was just like, I was like, oh, well, I just didn't want to make anything up. And then he goes, oh yeah, it's true. My mom is sick and dying. So make sure you have your laughs with that, KP. So he did it in the most perfect way, like comedy wise, just to make me feel like an ass. And it worked pretty good, but it was.
He did that. So he did it on stage, like.
Oh no, afterwards hanging at the bar.
Okay, cool.
So,
yeah.
So there's no bad blood there, but it was definitely like he let me know. He goes, oh yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna remember that one. So
yeah.
Yo, Rob, I gotta let.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was a little worried because I basically did all dead dad jokes.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna say my mom hasn't seen it yet, but my sister isn't super excited about it. I did call your sister. She didn't seem like she minded. She's like, I don't know about some of those. I was like, yeah, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, it's funny.
I did roast all of your family for having small tits. So I mean, I don't know if any of your family's seen that, but it's gonna be. I'm gonna just not that I look at your family's tits anyway, but it's gonna be weird eye contact.
Well, the thing is, like,
seeing each other after 4 months.
My dad will agree with her. I showed the roast to my dad, and he laughed at the jokes where you called him fat. But every time I made a dead dad joke, he was like, come on, dude.
He was like disappointed in you.
Did you guys know I was adopted or no?
Nah, we didn't do enough research. Fuck.
Oh, it's okay. No, it comes up in a lot of the Fight Club battles, Roast Masters too, especially. But I'm adopted. It was before I was born or anything. I was like no orphanage or anything. But Joel Walkowski did. This is my favorite joke anyone's ever pulled on me. It was all dad jokes, right? Like biological father jokes. Then he got a kid to play my biological son and brought him up on stage, and the kid had like a stutter and everything. Like it was, he had him licking a giant oversized lollipop, asking me where I've been his whole life. Like it was like it was Inception level fucked up. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Holy shit! Yeah. All right. So there's a whole another level of trying to shake a comedian that we haven't even chipped the ice on yet. That sounds diabolical. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, yeah, dude. The only reason why I did that because I thought you'd bring it, and I was like, I'm just hoping it'll go to overtime so I can do the fake out at the end. That's the only. That's the only reason why I did that.
As soon as you set it up, I'm like, all right, here comes the biggest.
Yeah, just being like, all right, I'm done with the dead dad jokes, and then obviously doing a dead dad joke. That was literally the only reason why I harped on it so hard.
Such a misdirection, dude. Everyone was so misdirected. Everyone's like, oh shit, I'm so misdirected.
I don't know if they were, but I wanted to do it. I was like, let's go.
It was a good joke. Marley and me.
But I did feel kind of bad at the end. But
no, I showed my dad it. He didn't say anything, so I guess you're good. Get it because he's dead. Remember?
Yes.
Forgot?
Yes.
Did you forget it?
That one hurt me too, bud. That's
But yo, what was there? What was there anyone from Jacksonville that also went to New York eventually, and you're like, oh shit.
it was weird. So technically, the biggest success story out of there is Lil Duval, who I never met. A couple people I knew have bumped into him before, but no, it was some good dudes. Everybody wound up in LA for the most part. I'm the only guy that went East Coast, I think. But it was
That's a smart move. Everyone's leaving LA now, so
yeah, it's weird, dude.
you had some good incentive.
Sean Finnerty was out there. Jeff Zenisek, my good buddy, hilarious dude. A couple other people. Yeah, for some reason LA was, I guess, the weather, and then it's so fucking expensive to live up here, man. That's what sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, expensive, and also now it's like you're not allowed to work to pay for it. So, and they're still kicking people. So I had a buddy, William Strange is living up there. He just had moved literally like maybe a month before the pandemic hit. Had a spot to LA.
Yeah.
And then got fucking pandemic hit, lost his job. They're kicking him out. He had to move back like immediately. He's like finally out of the city. It's like, all right, come back now. It's like that must suck.
At least he's got the excuse, man. That's
right.
Yeah.
He would have done fine too. It's just, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah. And I feel like for me personally, like if I was to move to a city for comedy, I feel like I would have to go to New York. Like outside of like that, it's like geographically closer. For me, I think just the actual comedy there is better. I think there's still great comics in LA, but I don't know. Like all my favorite comics like grew in New York.
Yeah,
it's
some
stage time for sure. Yeah, stage time, and then. But I was also gonna say the thing that I got lucky with is Jersey's right smack in the middle of everything. So I have city access if I need it, but then you can go work the weird road gigs where it's like the comics are excited to see you because like, holy shit, thank God another comedian's here.
True.
So right, instead of like probably like a waspy type of environment where comedians are trying to like just take over, like it's all competition instead. You're like, oh, an ally instead of like, oh, we're competing for the same stage right now. It's more of a friendly environment.
Yeah, when you're at a Rotary Club with somebody, they get pretty happy to see a familiar face. So it's and those gigs pay, so that's nice too. But then you get to do more stage time and shit. So it's like I've heard a lot of the guys say it too, and it's probably going to be this way moving forward, I assume. But what would you rather do? Go work an hour, each night and get paid for it, or go try to do like 3 or 4 city spots to try to work out the same different shit, and then you just have to hope that one crowd is as good as the other.
Right, and not only that, but I'm horrible with sense of direction and also navigating cities. So as soon as I get in the subway,
Me too, buddy.
I'll be fucking lost in seconds. Every time I've been to a city, I'm afraid to go to Philadelphia, which is hardly even like a city compared to New York, where it's got subways to other subways or some shit. I don't even know if that's true. It's just I've gotten lost before on the way to shows, and I had one show, and I missed it. So I don't think Philly would be for me. I think
all right. Yeah,
the Zoom podcast works great.
Well, I'm interested to see how the Austin comedy scene develops with Rogan moving there.
True.
Like, I wonder if there's going to be just like a bunch of comics moving out to Austin.
I heard it was they actually kind of had a scene there already. Like one of my buddies that was a frequenter at the Flying W, which is this shitty show I do at this airport / dive bar with the dude Troy Gentry died there. He crashed his helicopter there, or someone crashed a helicopter while he was in it. Country singer, but regardless, I forget everything I was about to say. How about that for what was I talking about? Oh yeah, someone from Flying W flew out to Austin, and he said like it was like a pretty poppin' scene already. So I guess there's already some wheels moving. That's probably why he went there to begin with, or maybe just because of other freedoms and I don't. I'm not gonna try to get inside of Rogan's.
Yeah, and I'm sure
plans.
it's like a dope scene, but like the one thing that they were lacking, even though there's probably like a lot of dope scenes, but the one thing that LA and New York has compared to everyone else is like bigger names, I guess. So the fact that like Like, imagine if like Rogan moved to Philly. Like, how insane that would be.
Dude,
Like,
what if we
he's just
started?
like doing spots at Helium?
Oh, that would
Like,
suck.
that would be nuts. Like, I wonder if like other bigger names are gonna move there, or just more up and coming comics are gonna go there, and then that's gonna create like a whole ecosystem, and then maybe that's gonna be like a new hub, like in like 10 years, like that can compete with like LA and New York.
I was thinking like it could come to a place where it's almost like each state has their own comedian, like a politician.
Well,
So
it
there's
seems like a lot of people are leaving like their cities and kind of going all over the US, so that could happen everywhere. I don't know.
right, yeah. So you got like your Senate, and then you got the different levels of comedians of each state. So
Yeah.
someone's gonna have to hit up like Maine or something and be like, "There's no one here," but then they're like, "We don't listen to comedy." They're like, "Fuck."
They got what's his name? The guy from fucking Bob Marley. He pretty much owns all of New England. He was in. He played the other detective in Boondock Saints.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
not sure.
the one Willem Dafoe's always fucking with in the movie. He literally just plays New England, and but he's like their local god up there.
Yeah. All right,
but-
shit. I guess Maine's off the table then.
Yes, and New Hampshire too. Let's just be safe.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah.
Do you guys know about the '80s scene in Houston though?
No.
No.
Dude, this is pretty wild. It was like one of the first like comics I got super into was Sam Kinison when I was in high school, and Kinison was part of that whole scene in Houston. And Houston had it's like in the '80s scene when it was going crazy. New York had shit going on. Don't get me wrong. And then LA had some stuff they were figuring out, but Boston had everybody because their scene was nuts. And then the only thing that could rival Boston was Houston. And Houston had like Sam Kinison, Bill Hicks.
Ooh, that's a solid one right there.
Yeah, dude. Who I'm trying to think who else were like some of the big marquee names, but they just had like some hard fucking hitters in Houston. Yeah. And Bobcat Goldthwait I think came out of that area at the time, and it was.
Yeah, and then I feel like it casted a large shadow because like some of the most nuts comedians to this day are like from Boston. Like DePaulo's from Boston, right?
Yeah, DePaulo he came in on the tail end of that one, I think. Technically, Rogan was up there.
Yeah, Rogan, Bill Burr, Patrice, Louis C.K. is from that area.
Louis for sure. Lenny Clark was the guy up there. He was like the godfather of the scene. Who else? Stephen Wright.
Yep.
I mean, they literally. If you've never seen it, there's a documentary called "When Stand Up Stood Out" that was.
Yeah, I've seen that before. That one's a good one. You get to like,
phenomenal.
It's like it's like comedy's war movie.
Pretty much, dude. Those guys went. They got some shit going on over there, man. So that'll be cool to see if you can get if Austin turns into like a hub for all that other stuff, like you guys were saying, man. Because Rogan does have that kind of a pull. So.
Yeah, it seems like he kind of rebirthed, like LA comedy. Like it seemed like when he went back to the store because he got banned from the Carlos Mencia thing for a while, and then I think he was doing like the Ice House and like Laugh Factory and shit like that, and then
where is Ice House? I see a bunch of people perform. I don't know where that's located. Where is Ice House at? I know
Pasadena. No, I don't know.
It could be. My buddy Jeff
I have
was
no idea.
Tell us.
I should have asked.
But it seemed like when he went back to the store and started promoting it on his podcast, it just blew the fuck up. And then like all the other podcasts that he lifted up from his podcast, most of those comics were going to the store, and then it just was insane. Like I went to the Comedy Store like a few times, and just how packed it was in every room was insane. So I feel like it became like a huge tourist attraction, even though it has like a ton of history to it. I feel like it did have a dip, and then when Rogan came, it was.
I mean, he might have a bigger plan in the schemes, like because I mean, obviously he's going to be having performers and such coming to his podcast, which is going to interest the area for comedy and stuff. People like, is there a place, and it's going to make any area there that has a comedy club more popular when you got someone bringing that type of talent through. I guess I don't know
Yeah, and even like the cellar was like I don't personally know, but it seemed always pretty sick. But then like I think there was like a spike after like uh the show Louis.
Yeah,
And also,
I've heard people say it kind of got turned into a little bit of a Disneyland vibe. Like, and that's just people's perception. Nothing really changed about the club, but
gotcha.
the way people looked at it, it was like you get tourists that come in. It's almost like the Cheers in Boston, that people walk in and take a picture of it and then just want to like leave or something. So it's goofy,
Yeah.
man. Sellers still got fucking. I hope they come back, man, because their roster was pretty goddamn outstanding.
Yeah.
What was your favorite play? Have you performed like at a specific venue that like is just like your home base, or just like you love it like the most, or is there like a specific reason why maybe, or anything like that? Like,
I dug the old stand a lot. I did a couple Frantics over there. That was it's like you guys were saying too about the Philly the rooftop gig, was that it was people who knew what was going on. So if you're a comedy fan, they expect some left turns, they expect misdirects and like well written shit. Which is better than doing some of those Elks gigs where you start getting booed, for a certain bit if you take too many liberties with it. But
right, yeah.
I don't know, dude. I have a soft spot for the Stress Factory. They've been super good to me, man. So I've always dug it over there. They're outdoor now too, so they're still up and running.
Damn, that's sick. I never been to the Stress Factory, but I heard good things.
They have shit figured out, man. It's that's our bragging rights club in Jersey for the most part.
Yeah.
I've been there a few times. I do like that place. It is funny though, like because the cellar at some point, like, can we do it outside? Like, no, we're called the fucking cellar, dude. Like, we can't go outside. We can't do this outside.
There's nowhere to do it either, man. They're right there on the corner.
They could do it in like, what, isn't there like stairs to get in? Just like have people sit on the stairs, which
Yeah,
actually a bad idea. Even closer than sitting in the room. Never mind.
That's half the appeal of that place is you walk by and see who's hanging out on the stairs anyways. So that's
right. And then
Yeah.
whether to go in or not.
Isn't there like 3 different rooms that's like associated with it? Like the original one,
Yeah.
Village Underground, and then Fat Black?
Yeah, Fat Black is upstairs. That's the only one I've ever performed on over there. That'd be shout out to my buddy Mike Cannon. Him
Nice.
and Bobby Kelly both let me do spots when they do shows
he
there.
has a podcast with Mike Feeney.
Yeah, the Irish Goodbye Boys. They're buddies of mine.
Yeah.
So good dudes, but Fat Black's cool because they let them work out new material up there. So then if sometimes you get lucky and they throw you a little guest spot on that one. So that one's cool just to be there. But the main one downstairs is still. I actually went there one time. I was doing a podcast in the upstairs studio, and I walked into the Comedy Cellar downstairs like during the daytime, and all the chairs and tables were put up just so I could take a leak real quick. And you realize you're like, dude, this is just a fucking room. But on any given night, that's like the greatest place. That's literally Mecca for everybody who ever tries comedy. So it's weird how much onus we put on that shit.
Yeah. Is it it's kind of how many years in were you when you moved back to Jersey?
Less than 2.
Okay, cool. So what were you dabbling in the Jersey scene and the New York scene?
It was weird. I thought I didn't know where I was going to live for a while. So that was trippy, but it was like, I figured out the joke writing things. I ran with a really good crew down in Jacksonville. So people knew I could tell jokes. So I was, you could go be the open mic hero or whatever you needed to be to go up there. But if it was, I also was drinking like a fish around that time. So when I drink, I don't drive. So it was like, it better be, something I can get a ride to. You know what I'm saying, buddy?
I drive. It's fine. I'm trying to get number 3. We're going for the 3-peat eventually. You gotta wait though.
God damn, dude.
I mean, it's just a matter of. I don't have. I said I would never get 2, and I look at me now. So I would say I would never get 3, but I mean, I can't guarantee that. I was pretty confident in not getting 2. So
I had it was weird. I haven't drank since April. And so I'm debating whether or not I'm going to go back. But if I don't ever go back, the thought did get into my mind that I was like, yo, I won. They never got me. I can never get a DUI again if I don't ever drink. So I beat the house.
You did beat
did.
the house, dude. That's why
I-
I'm the degenerate gambler. So that's why I'm like, all right, one more try. I'll win all my money back this time.
That's
Dude, you
what's bad,
already
too.
lost.
It's a UFC fight weekend. I just got an unemployment check. I don't know how much of it's going to go towards, FanDuel, but it's going to be a portion.
Yeah. FanDuel must be, as soon as they brought back sports, they just probably had the most uprise of crazy. Like I think you could have bet on cornhole at one point during this I mean, at least the offshore websites, you could always do
Korean
that.
baseball. Yeah, they were seeing action in Korean baseball they've never seen before.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, dude. Oh, side note. Before this, I was hyping myself up for the cast. Was watching just a compilation of Mari videos of people being told they're not the father. Dude, that shit was so tight. Like, if I had no context, I would be like, this guy either like saw a magic trick or like just scored a touchdown. I was like, this rules.
There's a failed sketch idea of mine was we were trying to figure out how to do it, but we couldn't get like a sound stage to look like Maury's enough, so it wouldn't have made any sense. But the idea was
you're not friends with too many old men that are decrepit.
I just needed the sound stage, man. I can find some decrepit old men. It's just a Craigslist personal ad away.
Right.
But it was going to be Maury or someone who looked like Maury on stage saying, "You are not the father," and then Joseph walking out and getting into the Virgin Mary's face. But we couldn't figure out how to make it work.
That's got to be done. They're not using it now. Just be like, we'll just Photoshop in the audience, put some speakers throughout it. Boom, dude.
We got to
or just have a bunch of people who already have COVID come in. Like, you guys want to actually see, like, that should be have them all quarantined in a good way, where they like accept, like, I got COVID, I get to go to the fun thing now. I guess you shouldn't make it fun because then people would try to failed idea again.
I think you accidentally solved a problem. There's like, no, everyone who has COVID, you have to bring a positive test and then you're allowed to gather in mass because now we know you can't hurt anybody.
That's kind of what I was saying, but I realized how much of like people, like if you have like a good show, people like, yo, shit, you get to go fucking see like that happen or you get to go watch Maury live if you have COVID. It's pretty. I guess that's kind of right in the middle. People who were gonna go see Maury were probably already gonna have COVID anyway, so it's a good layover there. We could solve this, guys.
But I gotta say, those Maury crowds, dude, I don't think people would be nearly as excited if they were seeing like Led Zeppelin original lineup play. Like the how stoked they get is crazy, and it blows my mind. Because because when the dude finds out he's not the dad, you just see like the kid that they're talking about on the screen, just like, and this guy's just fucking like dancing, and like this kid just doesn't have a dad, and you're just like, just fucking
yo,
moonwalking.
Fuck you, son, or not anymore, son.
It's one of the more wild things I've ever seen. That and the Pain Olympics, but.
Pain Olympics is no bueno.
For the Maury one, did you get any of the good old school when they run backstage ones?
Oh, yes.
The athleticism that crew has to display in order to be able to follow around the guy who's running around backstage, like flipping over tables and shit.
They must have some of the lightest cameras or just the most buff, like one dude with like one buff arm, but is a ninja everywhere else, just like flipping over. Because, yeah, they keep up with them pretty well.
Yeah, that was pre-GoPro.
Yeah, now they can do it easily. They can just put one right on the dude's head.
Yeah, that that shit was nuts. And I looked it up. I was like, is Maury scripted? Because sometimes it's just like a little too insane to think that anyone in their right mind would do this on television.
Right.
And they said sometimes people will fake a story to come on, but for the most part, and like it's not scripted, but I'm like, why would you fake that just to be on TV? I guess a part of me gets it, but it's also like, are you going to use that like as a credit?
Dude, Rob,
Like,
if they
I was
offered
at
you,
Gotham. I'm a father.
Rob, you would if they came up to you and was like, yeah, you want to act as one of the kids and more, you just gotta look real upset. This guy's gonna find out you're not the father. You go, yeah, sign me up. You'd shave your beard immediately.
Oh yeah, facts.
Yeah, man.
I would do it because that would just be a sick tape to have.
Oh man, and you really can't like. I mean, it's not hard to find. That makes sense though, because we rented a baby one time for like $100 on the hour for a movie. My friend was. I didn't do any of this.
All
But
right, you gotta lead with the movie thing. We're in an Epstein era right now, so you gotta lead that. You just
right,
said we
this is
rented
a
a baby for an hour. Yeah.
See, I need someone like that to make sure that because I say stuff all the time thinking that I premised it and I don't. So it's just So we rented a baby.
Yeah, listen, you didn't hear from me, but babies give massages for only $100 an hour.
We did for so we were filming some movie Shithead. Some dude was. And I was just a baby dealer in one of the scenes. I was only in the thing for like maybe like 3 minutes, but like. They had to rent someone's baby. They brought it there without knowledge of anything. They're like, yeah, just got to be on camera and stuff. I had to I put it in a bag. I was going to go to zip it. And then we take the baby out and then zip it from a different angle. So it doesn't look like so I don't actually have to fucking put a baby in a Ziploc bag. But it was still super bizarre. He's like, I'm like, you didn't say I was going to have to do any of this. And like, the guy was really good at just pressuring me. Like, all right, just put it. We won't zip it up. I'm like, did you think I was gonna do that? This is fucking nuts, dude. So yeah, you can get people to do whatever you want for a few dollars. I don't know if I should have said this on air, but it's on TV. It's in a movie that he's trying to sell in LA right now. It's not going well for some reason.
Yeah, and I also like that he was like, listen, you don't have to zip it up. Like, that would be such a specific thing to bother you.
Dude, the baby ruled, though, because it was on the bed. And we had to make it look like a newborn, so they put like oatmeal on it, and then it shit and pissed all over the bed right while we were filming. It was beautiful. It was a really good that baby is born to stardom. It knew exactly it was on action, shit and threw up and pissed all over the bed. We're like, this baby knows how to fucking turn it on, not sexually.
Yeah, that baby was a real try hard.
I have a cousin that's a lawyer that I just want you to hang out with for about 40 minutes, okay, Cody? It's gonna help.
I can learn a lot.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He'll advise on language and word usage choices.
Does he want to produce our podcast?
I don't know. It's a weird thing. There's always going to be money for lawyers. No lawyers are out of work right now.
Right, that's true. But if we pay him lawyer rates to produce as well, dude. To have a lawyer producer, that would cost. Never mind, dude. That's gonna be way too expensive.
Yeah, Rob. This is where you cut to your Patreon commercial. Make sure you have money for that shit.
Damn, man, what would we sell?
Oh man, there's a classic. Oh, LegalZoom. This would be a perfect ad for LegalZoom right now.
What the fuck's LegalZoom?
It's like a classic podcast sponsor that they just help you with legal shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I know what he's saying too, because there'd always be those crazy ones with like Burr or something where Burr's going nuts and he'd just be screaming about some letter that somebody wrote, and something infuriating him in the news or something like that, and you'd just be screaming. It'd be like stamps.com.
Sherry's berries.
Dude, I do love the no cut right into an ad of after being furious or just weirded out by something, what the fuck? Selling this shit though? What's up?
It's the worst. I gotta walk away from this one. Stamps.com.
I hate abortions. Blue Chew. Why? Everyone eat Blue Chew.
That's like when Rogan he was legit a sponsor of the Fleshlight back in the day, and people forget about it.
Dude, when he was doing podcasts on a couch.
Mm-hmm.
What? He probably. Why have they separated? They're both doing so well.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be. There's a market. It's. You ever notice that whatever straight white guys are into becomes deemed problematic almost immediately?
Yeah, we're good at that, dude. We'll turn something into a problem even when it's not.
Can you guys hear my dog breathing heavily into the microphone or no?
Wait, I'm
No,
listening.
I
It
can't.
just stopped. Yeah.
Yo, what kind of pooch you got?
We got English Bulldog right down here. English Bulldog,
Oh,
American
let's
Bulldog.
go.
Oh, hello, English Bulldog. Oh, it's me. I'm Cody. I'm trying to make him feel at home. Is he not?
That's,
What's his name?
when I named him Eddie after Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. So
Nice.
All
yeah,
right.
he's all I got to bring back with me from Jacksonville was a Nissan Frontier full of clothes and a bulldog. So it worked out all right.
Hell yeah.
That's not bad. That's not a bad trade-off at all.
No, but he hates when I close the door. So if I close the door, he was going to be a problem outside the door. And then now he's in here just breathing super heavy into the microphone where I can't even hear myself think. So
Well,
Yeah, I always thought it was just like a trope, but it proved to be true. The older I get, the more I appreciate dogs.
that's
Because
easy going.
Yeah, and I think there was a thing too where I don't know, like I was just really young. I grew up with like a ton of dogs, and I always liked them, but I was just like, I got all my friends, and like I got this life outside of home. Who gives a shit? And now when I come home and just see my dog just hopping on me, it's like, yo, who gives a shit about your day? We're just chilling, dude.
yo, it sounds
like,
like you
this
just
is
don't
it.
have any friends anymore.
Yeah.
It just sounds like you don't have any. Like,
Well,
I love my dog now that no one can see anybody. It's
Yeah. Well, Bill Burke
It's
kind
true
of had a
though.
bit about that where like the dog comes up to you, it's like, yo, you're the shit. And you're like, no, dude, you're the shit. And
it is fun to just get a dog all jacked up. They start doing that wheeze thing where they'd be like, "Oh, my mom's gonna be pissed. You're fucking up the carpet. Stop." You know
Yeah.
that shit. Yeah, whatever.
yeah. My dog just started she's like 5 now.
Oh, your
Kind of
dog's
dog.
dead, dude. What are you talking about? Oh, you have two. I forgot. You got two of them. Never mind.
Yes. Yeah. I had one to spare, but she was taking a piss all over the place, just like in the house when she was already just like trained to piss outside. And then we're like, all right, it's possibly UTI. Got the test back. Wasn't a UTI. So we're like, oh, you're just stunting on these fools right now. And a part of me respected it.
I don't know how old's the dog. Could be.
It's hard to know because when we got her, they said she was 1.5 years, but they weren't sure. We got her from like a shelter or something like that. So she could be between like 3 to 5. We don't know.
Yeah, it's too early to just pee pissing yourself for no reason.
Yeah.
That's spite piss.
Yeah, like that's a real thing. Like if dogs get pissed at you,
Have you changed the food? Have you been changed the food to like a less? Your mom's Jewish. Is it a cheaper brand of dog food?
Going in on that. All right.
My mom's
respect for
Jewish
sticking-
too, so I'm just using it as an example.
I know, but look, you guys have both been able to overcome that disability, so I'm proud of both of you. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man, dude.
Yo.
No, that's not said enough, honestly. Just be
Kevin
praised for like,
Patrick, thank you.
oh man.
Wait, what made you want to go KP instead of Kevin?
Oh, well, KP was my nickname growing up as a kid anyway. And then when I started in Jacksonville, there was already a Kevin Burke that was doing comedy. Seriously, if you Google him, I think he's from Chicago or something, but he's out in Vegas now, and he like just plays like casino gigs out there. But I've worked with other people who knew him, and they say he's a pretty good dude. But I wanted to have a something to differentiate, and then we just rolled with KP, and that kind of worked. So it's weird though. I have that thing where if people try to call me KP at work, I get confused by it because it started as a stage name and then just kind of took over for everything else. So
True.
So that you get called that by your friends, or they call you Kev?
It depends. It's most people at this point. Just KP is about 90% of my interactions, and then
Your mom probably doesn't call you KP, or your dad.
yeah,
Or your
just
dad on your podcast might.
he's weird too. He calls me that now because that was where the nickname started. It was him and my uncle Nick used to call me KP all the time. But so it's weird. But like I was working because I used to work like construction jobs and shit, and then the one guy knew me from like casually through comedy or whatever, and before I came on with their group. and he was calling me KP at work, and I was like, I don't fucking like this at all. My name is Kevin here. I don't want to know any of you guys after the fucking bell rings. You know what I mean? It's over.
Yeah, I don't want to be YouTubed.
Yeah, that's or the worst I always get. Like I went on a hunting trip with my uncle and a couple of his buddies, and they were good guys, but somebody was like, they made a comment like, you don't say much. You sure you're a comedian? And I was just like, yeah, you guys just aren't interesting. That's
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it when they put you on blast, is just to make them like, yo, fuck you guys. I don't want to make you laugh.
Well, I shared Feeney's thing yesterday because Feeney put out that he had an MLB video. It was pretty funny, so I shared it on my Instagram. And one of my buddies, Chris Johnson, who's a good guy, he messaged me, goes, fucking kiss ass. And I just wrote back to him. I was like, dude, if you ever put out something like that, I'd share it in a heartbeat. You should just like try writing good shit or something.
Yeah, it's that old shit's weird. People like,
yeah, well, I'll have friends now. They'll be like, listen, they don't do comedy. They're like, listen, I was thinking of this thing that's pretty funny if you want to use it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I probably wouldn't want to use it.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of, actually, it's funny. Whenever like I do like a crossover thing where it's like music and comedy, the musician always wants to be like, all right, dude, here's a joke. And he tells it, I'm like, all right, cool. Can I see your guitar? They're like, why? I'm like, I want to just do a sick riff. I don't know anything about guitar, but you want to check out this sweet ass riff and just like miss all the chords. Like, this is what it's like when I listen to you do this. Never done it before. Why are you pretending like you're really good at it just because you fucking had a guitar in your hand before you went on stage? That's you, Rob. That's actually how you became a comedian. Now I'm pissed off at Rob.
Dude. Let's fucking go.
Do you ever have that though, where it was because I was trying to figure this out as a bit. I never figured it out, but it was the reason stand-up sucks is because everyone wants to come see you do it before you have a chance to get any good at it. So half the people that are coming to support you are hoping that you don't stick the landing. So it's like, are those people really your friends? You can't even tell because they're hoping it's going to go poorly. And then by the time you actually get good at it, no one wants to see it anymore. So it's the half the people there hoping that you crash and burn. And then the other half are like, it's pretty much like you just said, hey man, I'm in a band. You want to come see us play? And they're like, oh, I didn't even know you play the guitar. Like, I don't. I'm going to take a lesson. And you guys are all going to come watch me take the lesson.
Yeah.
True.
Just be an audience who's like, yo, way to hit that G chord for the first time ever, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I never baked a pie. I never baked a pie before, but I'm baking it for the first time, and I want you to eat it, but it's also a 2-drink minimum. So order 2 Cokes, and then you can have my first pie.
And my oven doesn't work, so we're using a microwave.
I'm a jerk about that. I think I'm in support of bringer shows.
In support?
Yeah, I think because I remember sitting there and being like, everyone couldn't wait to say like, oh, I don't do bringer shows. But it's like, listen, if you're gonna fucking stink, the least you can do is pad the audience a little bit.
That's true. Yeah, because it did, like, yeah, I guess I got into bringer shows when I was like a little bit better off, and I was doing them in New York, so it wasn't like actually people I knew. It was like one friend that would bring 4 other people because I used to do them at the Broadway thing. I only did 2, but they packed that audience with like 200 people, so it's sweet to do. But I would never drive from here with people that I'm going to are going to sit in the audience and watch me perform. I know people that have rented vans from South Jersey, picked up 10 people, including comedians, took the bus down to perform at Dangerfields. I was one of the guys. I went to perform, but I didn't bring a single person. I'm like, I'll go on the bus. I'll give you like $20 for a ride to New York for sure. But like the ride home, because there was certain comedians that did good and certain comedians that did very horrible. And it was just like a split conversation on people just looking out the window like, oh. And then people were like, yeah, dude, that fucking rocks. I can't believe I got to perform on Dangerfields. It was a weird car ride home for sure.
God damn. I mean, Dangerfields has that effect on people anyway. That
it's funny because I saw an interview with you where you're saying one of the clubs you wanted to do the most was Dangerfields. Just
to get it, my senior year, junior formal was the after party was there. That's all it is. Like Dangerfields would make all their money off like, oh, we got a bunch of drunk high school kids in here. Let's let's throw people up on stage.
What?
And,
That's awesome. Wait, they would do shows while
Yeah, prom shows are a thing.
yeah, it's
what?
it's chaos, dude. So you'd have the junior formal, then everybody would get on the party bus. Then the party bus would go to New York City. Everybody would go into Dangerfields, and they wouldn't serve anybody. Don't get me wrong. It would be like a lot of Pepsis and shit like that going on. But everybody was already drunk, or they'd be sneaking bottles in and then mixing their stuff up. So it's like it's Dangerfields doesn't do anything wrong, but they make sure that they cultivate some chaos there. And this was actually fucking super bizarre. Me and Kevin Brennan were driving together to a gig in like West Pennsylvania, and it was like nightmarish type of gig. But me and him were talking, and I just mentioned he was talking about the prom shows at Dangerfields. I was like, well, my junior prom was at one of those, and he goes, dude, sometimes the crowds are so shitty there that one night I got up on stage and screamed, I fucked all your mothers and all your sisters, and walked off stage like 7 minutes into my set. And I was like, holy shit, dude, how many times did that happen to you there? And he goes, really just the once. And I was like, Wayne Valley, class of 2005. That was me. We were there.
What?
And I reached out to a couple other of my friends, and they were like, yeah, dude, I kind of remember that. So Kevin Brennan was on our show and told all of us that he fucked all our mothers. And there I am driving him to Anthracite, Pennsylvania, 10 years later.
At that point, I guess did you know you were going to be a stand-up comedian? Like, you're looking at this guy on stage, like, at some point I want to try that, or were you already kind of like involved?
I was a fan. I was a fan of stand-up already at that point, but it was like that's why I was getting angry at the show, because I was like, you're not even letting me watch this shit. Because all my drunk idiot friends were, there were like girls like passing out on the floor and stuff. It was pretty unseemly, but. Yeah, it was just
Rodney's
nuts.
just in the back grabbing him by the legs, just bringing him.
I'm trying to remember who else was on it. Oof.
Yeah, the fact that seems like already like, so they put on some pretty good heavy hitters for like people just like not like willing to just not like, at least half of the people can't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like, I imagine most girls that go to their prom are like, I would like to see some stand up at some point tonight. Like, I don't feel like that's the prom queens. Like, can you? I'm just listening to the punchline here. I don't think she's going to do that.
We all know it's the truth, but we just don't say it because they tend to write blogs about it. But every heckler that's ever ruined a comedy show has been a drunk white woman.
It's fact.
It just, you can't. They've never been slam dunked on. A guy will eventually be like, "Fuck, man, I'm looking really stupid right now," or "I'm not going to say anything else," or a guy will start a fight. I've seen that too. But
and then just to tie it all in, like they'll heckle you and be like, "What? I'm a Libra."
Yeah. I once was told with a straight face from a drunk lady down the Jersey Shore area. She goes, "What? We can't even talk during a comedy show now?" I was like, "You never could."
And what's that?
Well, dude, that's like the weird thing. Comedy, in a weird way, just doesn't get respect. It does, and it doesn't. Because I feel like a surprising amount of people think that most stand-up is on the spot.
Yes.
Like that they think you're just saying it, so they think it's just a conversation.
Or that we're it's a parlor trick, and that we can't. They think we can't hear them. That one always trips me out.
Yeah.
You can be in the room with somebody, and they're like, of course, it's that hack throwaway line, but they're like, "Hey, I'm not the TV. I can talk back to you." But
right. I think it's the persistence of the heckle is what really does. There's never like there's never a one-liner heckle that can really put a fork in the show. It's the person that they're basically just sending you a misdirection without punchlines. They're like, my shoes don't even fit right, and then like when they're so drunk, they're just saying shit that doesn't even make sense or have anything to do with the last thing they said. Like, you can't even keep up with what I'm saying. It's like, because you keep changing it every sentence when I'm trying to stick the landing here. It's impossible. You keep pulling out the rug.
Well, I think there's a weird thing where if the comedian's good enough, they make it seem like it's super easy. And then also being like good at BMX isn't looked at as a natural skill. Being like a sick like drum player isn't looked at as a natural skill, but being funny is looked at as like an inherent skill. So if you're making it look super easy, people think, oh, you're just doing like I'm funny.
Right.
Like no one looks at like Jimi Hendrix and they're like, oh well, like I was just born a good guitar player. So
Yeah, like a
so I
magician
feel
that saw somebody in half and was like, I could do that.
yeah, so I feel like that they look at it and have just like this weird feeling. It's like, well, he's being funny. My friends told me I'm funny, so I think if I'm adding to this, that's good.
They'd be lucky to have me on their stage. That'd be sweet though. If you're like,
I don't know if that's a valid thought, but it was something. I don't know.
like it.
That I was
like
thinking
it.
for a while.
I like that. I think it'd be cool though, in kind of a sense of that, like hecklers had their own type of like that was also an art form that they started to group together and start doing. Like, hey, you gonna hit that open mic tonight? Yeah, I'm gonna heckle. Like they just went to open mics and just got real good at fucking heckling. And then like got to a point where they're like, yo, this heckler kills, and they're like actually booked to be, and then they become like, and then the roles reverse. Basically, you just become a comedian to get shit. I ran out of things to say about this. You just shit on by the guy. It's it. Steamroller done, dude.
Yeah.
Somebody once told me too, though, that the crowd can't judge your comedy; they can grade your confidence. So typically, it'll be somebody who's really cares about the joke they're writing, or doesn't get a response they want. They'll like the audience can sense like, oh, that guy got fucked up on that one there. But meanwhile, a dude out there who's just throwing out street jokes or being a hack and a half, that guy's not nervous because there's no skin in the game for him. So you can go out there and play. My buddy always breaks it down that it's like you're a fucking cover band at that point. You know that you got fucking Wonderwall in your back pocket to send everybody home happy. You know you're gonna do Don't Stop Believin'. So there's no risk involved. If you gotta write your own Don't Stop Believin', that's when shit gets dicey.
Yeah, I actually had to go after somebody like that did all street jokes. He even said like I thought he was legit. Like there's few of them I didn't like hear before, but then there was like few of them that were in like movies. Like he did that the last joke in like Beer Fest when the Willie Nelson does a joke. Is like, I jerked off so much time. Like he walks the dad walks into the son jerking off. It's like, yeah, you better stop or you'll go blind. And the guy goes, hey, I'm over here. He closed with that and it fucking crushed because they introduced him as a comedian from LA. It was Atlantic City. And they said that he just flew in from LA. He did. I found out after the fact that he's like lives in the ghetto in Atlantic City and just goes by that stage name and just gets off of like, I went on after him and I'm like, dude, half of those things were stolen and people were like, yo, fuck you. I'm like, God damn it, dude. I guess you're not supposed to, like, I didn't have any of my own material to do good on either. So I was like, well, fuck, this just sucks. So people out there doing that.
If you know the name of the person that they ever steal from too, that one's kind of fun, is to say, give it up for so-and-so. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I caught a guy lifting some stuff like it's always weird too why someone would try to steal an HBO comedy like comics material at an open mic. Like that's like a level of, it's almost like that stolen valor shit when you see people who will try to defy you and be like, dude, I swear to God, I had a guy tell me he was a Marine once, and I was like, you're on active duty right now? And he's like, yeah, I'm on active duty. I had 2 deployments, blah, blah, all this other stuff. And I was like, why? You have a beard, dude. Like, you can't have that in the Marines. I know that for like, I know because I can't have facial hair because I'm still in the Navy right now. And the guy was like trying to fight me about it. I was like, dude, this is mental illness, So if you show up and you think you can do Chris Rock bits at an open mic in West Orange, New Jersey, you're a sad motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a difference between Navy and the Marines. The Marines be bragging about shit they supposed to do.
That was wet. You deserve a lot of credit for that. That was fucking smart.
Man.
But dude, we're about an hour and a half. Dude, KP, thank you so much for fucking coming on, dude.
Thanks, man.
You're good dudes, man.
Appreciate that. You look like my buddy Kevin Conklin. I don't know why. I just need to I'll probably turn this in the clip and send it to him, get him start watching this. It's like, yeah, we just get people that look like our friends and we interview them. It's sweet.
Shit, is he a comic?
But dude, no. He's
okay.
he's no. You're so much cooler than him. He actually kind of sucks. He's kind of a big pussy. It's gonna be a fun reminder, but I forgot about him until I saw you. oh, this is gonna be fun. I used to bully that kid, so I'll get back to that. Not that I'm not going like saying that I'd be able to bully you. I feel like that would be the roles reversed. You're like the older version of him that would, like, I'm about to get my comeuppance.
Let's go. But dude, KP, sorry, has the American Loser podcast. And dude, do you have anything else you want to plug?
Nothing right now, man. There's shit's going good with Loser. We do have a Patreon that I got people that help me keep the show afloat that way. So if anybody wants to check that shit out, and then our YouTube stuff's actually taking off now. So I appreciate that, man. And like I said, hopefully, if everything blows over, we'll start figuring out. If you guys are down in Cherry Hill, next time I'm over at Stress, you guys should probably just come hang, at least see the place, you know?
Yeah, that
Hell
would
yeah,
dope.
dude.
And also,
Absolutely.
where can they follow you on Instagram before your sick memes blow up?
That's just that one, unfortunately, man. I learned a hard lesson there. But no, it's at KP Burke Sucks on Instagram, and then just KP Burke over on Facebook. The Facebook's where I do all I test out jokes and shit. So that's more fun to follow. I'll put it that way. Otherwise, you're just gonna get a lot of pictures of my dog.
Gotcha, sick.
Yeah.
People like that too, though.
There's a market.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rob, you got the plugs?
Yeah, just follow me at Rob Cruz Comedy on Instagram. Rate and review the podcast, and what else?
Right, Cody, Instagram. I only got one. Go ahead.
Yep,
Continue.
right. Cody on Instagram, and then also check out the roast we did, Comedy Fight Club on Gas Digital Network that KP was judging, and it was super fun, and like that everyone who performed on that in Philly fucking slayed it, so it was super fun. So definitely go to Gas Digital for that, and yeah, man, thanks again for coming on.
Easy day, man. Guys, thank you very much for having me, and hopefully we'll hang soon when this shit's all over.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
Shout
Nice
out to the
meeting
real
you, man.
ones.
We're all best friends, dude.
We're all best friends. Let's go.
This has been a DropTent Media production.